One of the questions I'm often asked is, what does it take to become a real professional trader? What things you have to do, what skills you have to build to get to that level? And we just happened to do a few months back a whole training hosted by Michael Tama inside of my Academy and Ultimate Prop Firm Trading Program, where we coach people how to get funded by prop firms. So I'll leave that whole training here. You can watch the whole thing for free here on YouTube. Let me know your thoughts below in the comment section. Let me know what you think of this training, and we'll dive in right away.
What is the goals of having a development plan? Right? It's the first one is the identification of areas to improve. That word identification, where have we heard that before? Remember? The risk management process, right? Identification, assessment, and then set controls. First thing we do in development, identify potential areas that need improvement. Then we're going to have, with the development plan, action items for each of those identified. We're going to have a due date, which quite honestly, I'm not the best person because I'm always blowing those due dates. And then we'll always have a status of our issue that we identified. Is it open? Is it ongoing? Is it closed? I use other because there could be a lot of things other than open, closed, like, in progress, almost done, that kind of thing. Okay. So identification, assessment, that's the action items, and the controls. What are the actual action items that we're going to do to address this and get it off our development plan, hopefully? Okay. Makes sense? Kind of simple, but one of the things I find as a coach is when we ask for them, everybody has a trading plan, and when it comes to development plan, I seem like we're a little non-compliant. So I'm going to push a little bit, right? Boot camp style. So for example, I need to improve my entry accuracy, a very specific part of your trading plan. I have my setups, my entry. So what's the action item? Well, I'm going to verify in my the trading plan definition of entry. What is it I have to do? That should be in my trading plan. When do I enter? And is it clear? And is it able to be executed? So make sure your trading plan is very specific. I enter when this, and this happens. It's very clear, and it's able to be executed. Another action item may be, remember, a specific action. Focus the next 10 trading days on being 100% trade compliant on your entry. So we're going to target very specifically one little facet of your entire development. And I'm going to nail it for the next 10 trading days. All right. Make a specific goal. I'm going to try at least determine the root cause of why I'm not complying on all these trades. If that's the case. And that's where the coach may come in. So you could bounce some stuff off us. All right. And then you're going to have a solution to resolving my entry accuracy compliance. So I did it. I became 100% compliant. Now, what do I have to do to make sure this never shows up again in my development plan? That's just a basic, simple, relatively simple example of identifying something that you have an issue with, putting a plan in action, and then just getting it under control and nailing it. All right. And keep in mind that a lot of these things come back on your development plan later on, but we'll address it. So that's a really cool snapshot of an example. And let's get into some of the core sort of principles of going pro and putting these things on. What's the purpose of this mastermind call? It's like the third time I'm saying this. It's about having a development plan to address these issues to bring you to a pro status, right? And some of these things, as we go through each bullet, again, ask yourself this question. Should this be on my development plan, right? Hint, hint, if your goal is to be full-time or professional or consistent or trade other capital, chances are you or a prop firm manager is probably going to want to see some may surprise you. If you noticed, two categories, one from a trader perspective, another one from a personal business perspective. So the first one, continuous quality improvement in being a better trader. All right, one that has an investigative mindset. I love when people ask me questions, but quite honestly, some of them really could be answered by Google. All right, and I put CQI in there because last time I did a presentation outside of Desire to Trade, someone says, "What does CQI mean?" And I kind of harshly responded, "Well, why don't you just Google it, find out?" They're always constantly looking into other things. All right. Would love to see that. By the way, this is a great resume for in the prop world. Every once in a while, someone will say, I want to hire this trader. Mike, could you take a look? These are the things I'm looking for too. Next one, a non-binary approach to trading decisions. Remember, these are the sort of the characteristics of people who are going pro, right? They look and say, is it about that moving average? Is it like, do I enter on the moving average? Do I wait for the candle to break? The ones that are really going pro look at things outside of the trading screens. All right. It's not just, yes, I enter here. Do you have a 1-to-1 risk reward ratio? Sometimes. All right. A non-binary approach. It depends. I hate that answer. It depends. And I hated when my coach used to say that. But I got to tell you, I find myself saying it more and more. Okay? Non-binary approach to trading decision. A lot of it depends. All right. If I have 5 positions on and 4 of them are US dollar based, do I enter aggressively? No, maybe I'm going to be more conservative on that 5th one. It depends. Next, there's a specialization in 1 or 2 areas, and I emphasize 2. What I see a lot is there's this sort of like round robin where everybody's trying to absorb everything. That's great. I encourage people who trade FX to learn about the gold markets. I really do. But at the end of the day, you are a cardiac heart surgeon, and that's what you do. You go into surgery every day and you repair hearts. I want you to be very diversified, and I know I'm maybe talking 2 sides out of my mouth, but eventually you want to be a specialist in one. All right. I know we have a few traders here who trade like S&P futures and NASDAQ, and they just pound it. Like they just know exactly. They have a feel for how those markets move. All right. But if you ask them about the British pound and the loonie, they may say, what's a loonie? Right. So, I mean, you can see where they specialize in. They're just really good at 1 or 2 things, and they just pound it. That's their master of. Next, master of your platform and technology. Especially in the past 3 or 4 months, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's our algo product. A lot of questions about the platform technology, right? Well, my platform doesn't do that or doesn't have that feature. The pros get a new platform. They go on and they try to find an open source or they inquire to us, and we'll hopefully lead that in your direction. Especially, I see a lot of questions with MT4 and the MT5, like transition. Some things are missing. Some people, best traders just figure it out. And if it means changing platforms, they do it. Again, that's part of the investigative mindset. They focus on big picture development. This is, I love when I get the Slack feedback. A lot of it is about charts. It's about the entry and everything. But, when we're talking specifically about this pair and what are we doing and are you into it or where's your target? Do you remember that there's a employment number coming out on Friday? Like that's big picture. Okay. They do their homework on the weekend, prepare for the week. What are we looking at? Always taking a step back. Expansion of markets and strategies, which again, totally talks both sides of my mouth about being a specialist. But once you get to a level where you're confident in what you're doing, you want to look at other opportunities. Okay. The best trading, it's sad to say it, the best performing product that I had last year was actually in 2 Bitcoin ETFs. 3 years ago, I don't even know I didn't even know what a blockchain was. So, open-minded to expansion, different markets and strategies, looking at opportunities elsewhere. Next, you have a solution for everything, and you do whatever it takes. Anytime you have an issue, and a lot of this is development plan, you want to get to the point where you have a problem, there's a solution. I love when I see traders do that. It's not just about, well, I can't do that because of this. No, there's a solution for everything, right? You do whatever it takes to get you over a certain hump or a certain obstacle, right? That's really, quite honestly, I'm going to save that bullet. That's exactly what development planning is all about. And by the way, feel free to have your coaches, engage you in that, direct you. these are some of the trader concepts. And again, I didn't want like a top 10 successful habits of traders, right? This is a little different, focused on development. So I want you to ask you from a trader perspective, which one of these should be on your development plan, right? And don't try to, if there's more than a few, which I'm sure there might be, keep it like stagger your due dates, so to speak. Okay. I don't want you to be overwhelmed. So another part of this, and if you look at it, it's pretty much about half the screen. The Trader's Guide to Going Pro, a lot of this is personal stuff, and I always find it, and I know traders, I'm a trader too. So we're always heavy on the trader side, learning about charts and strategies and setups. But really, a lot of this is about, if you want to be a professional or get in that direction, a lot of it's the personal things that you need to work on or address. And again, those are in your development plan. One of the things I look at in my development plan is what's the ratio of trader development versus personal development. And I find that at least half the things on my development plan are personal things that are going to make me better traders. I threw in some here, and I want you to think about it. And a lot of this may be a little aggressive for some of the prop members, but I want you to take advantage of this really in-depth stuff. The optimization of trader work life. If you ask myself, Alex and Etienne, about, like the amount of hours we place into our trading, it's relatively minimal in the sense of screen time, daily grind, things like that. We really optimize our focus, preparation, focus on the big picture. But very rarely are we sitting there for 8 hours looking at like 5-minute candles. We just don't do that. But we try to, as best as possible, have a balance. All right, where we just go out. I know Etienne sent a note saying, guys, I'm on a plane. I'm taking 2 or 3 days. Just run the show. Just like I need a little break. Good for him. Have that nice little balance, and you address sort of family life issues, and you balance it very well. Right? Trading should be a very important part of your life, but it should be balanced with other things. Other things much more important than, engulfing candles. Second, this, I can almost guarantee you, should be some form should be in everyone's development plan. Addressing the demons. All right. And by the way, see, this is under personal. So this isn't about FOMO and trades or anything like that. What are your personal demons? Okay. And I don't talk too much about this in the prop world, but I know in the academy we do a lot. What are some of the things in your life that you need to overcome? And we have our academy sessions. We get into this. Like I'll get spouses on the phone, and we'll talk about some of the things going on in their life and how we address them. There are certain personal things that really statistically you have a big challenge. Let's address them now. This is why you're here. This is why you have a development plan, and let's address them. And they can mean, it could be something that takes years to overcome, but we're going to at least address it now and start the process. Right? That's a tough one. It's also a sensitive one. And I appreciate those who address these. And I even had some new prop members address their sort of personal situations. And I'm very flattered and humbled by their trust in me, even at an earlier stage in our relationship. So next, strengthening your strengths. I know particularly in the Academy group, we really push on the SWOT assessment, which is identifying your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and your threats. A lot of the behavioral studies really focus on, do I address my weaknesses or do I focus on building my strengths? The studies show you really should focus on your strengths. However, there's certain weaknesses such as I can't accept the loss, or, I double up after trades. I mean, these are weaknesses that you really, we need to address, but really becoming very special at what you do, just having a few strengths that just nail it. All right. And find those. That's identifying those strengths are a part of this. Be the best you. I mean, it almost has like a little bit of a spiritual tone, but I just find that when I'm happy and do things good and just nice to people, and I don't know, it seems like somehow my personal chi, for lack of a better word, kind of carries over into the other things in my life. Does it mean that, JPY, the USD JPY is going to hit 140 like I'm praying for? Well, I don't know. Probably not, but certainly going to have a nice balance, be happy, and kind of address the things that I'm dealing with and just be the best you can be. Okay. It's part of development. And last, what makes you special? We're so focused again on trading, development. Like, what makes you unique? Whether you're going to trade prop firm capital, or you're going to manage outside capital, or you're going to have your own family office fund, or you're just going to trade your own and be a pro, full-time pro in the trading business. What makes you special? What makes you unique? What's that one little elevator pitch that you can say, this is something I'm going to remember this person by? Because when I meet people, a lot of them have a very similar story, and it's interesting. But every once in a while, I come across someone and go, oh, that's the guy who, blank. Okay. And it doesn't have to be an accomplishment. It just could be something that just makes you very, very unique. Okay. It could be professional. It could be just something just makes you unique personally. And you overcame something that is just a great story. A lot to chew on here. So we have a lot of interesting development plan items. I keep circling back to that because that's really the goal of this. Okay. I hope there's a lot of pens and pencils that are getting worn out right now. Okay. We'll go through these a little more quickly. So I want to hear your comments. The other thing we found in the trader sort of lifestyle in the professional side is they have a business mindset. All right. And they look at trading as the entire part of their business. All right. And I'm not going to use that. They treat it like a business thing because it's true. But what the best traders do, and the ones that are really professional, is they have other income sources. And we are very, very open about it. All three of us on the coaching team here, very open about it. I love when people say, well, do you trade full time? I don't know. I don't even know I don't know what that means. But do I have other income sources? Absolutely. And this is the reason why. Abundance. When you trade from a state of scarcity, you're concerned about every trade. You sort of minimize. I have 2 or 3 losing trades in a row. I get the feedback on Slack, and I appreciate it. But tell me after 100 trades how you did, and then we can look at some key metrics. But when you trade from a state of scarcity, which we understand, a lot of the times that's why you're here. You want to be trading from a state of abundance. You want to have capital funded. You want to have bigger accounts. So we get it. Right? If everyone was trading from a state of abundance, desire to trade would probably be out of business. But we like to trade from abundance. And part of that is having other sources of income, whether it's a full-time job, part-time job, etc., to sort of lessen the blow of one little stop out, on the GBP. Part of that business income is your partner support, whether it's a partner, friend, spouse, family. Well, to be in a state of abundance, if you're part of, if you're married or you have a partner, it's, how are they doing? And if you notice that the better they're doing in their career, it's almost like a little bit of a cushion. Like, you know what? I can blow a $5,000 account now. It's not the end of the world, and I can learn better. Right? So investing in your partner's career, investing in partner support is very, very, very important. I actually really focused this on a risk element in one of my writings. And I mentioned a few times, the publisher didn't want to include that in my trading book. I insisted on it because it's so important. All right. Rather than maybe after a trading session, looking at charts, you see your maybe spouse is having a bad day. Take them out for ice cream or something and say, how was your day? It's okay. Just make them feel better and help them with their career. It's kind of selfish, but it's going to help you in your abundance state. The entrepreneurial spirit. I hope I didn't lose anybody on that. The entrepreneurial spirit is just, let's face it, we're all entrepreneurs. We're traders. We have an entrepreneurial mindset. But sometimes when we get into the grind, we tend to lose that fire. Do your best to maintain it. And myself, Alex, Etienne, it's one of those hidden gems that you can kind of ask us for free, so to speak. And we love talking about. We love talking about being entrepreneurs because that's really what we are. Trading just facilitates the entrepreneurial process. So try not to lose that flame. I know it's tough, especially after a bad week. Income streams other than trading, we talked about the income sources, but it really does help you as a trader. And by the way, that can mean your job too. So do the best you can at your job. Learn. Just don't go and just show up. Do your best you can. Try, do whatever you can to get your promotions and everything. And knowing one day that it'll help you in your abundance, and then you can tell your job to what. Okay, so let's go over the last section. A lot going on there in business income. Don't underestimate it. All right, we're very proud to say we have other income streams, and it's actually helps us be better traders. Okay, lastly, professional development. This is, to me, the most important of all these 4 sections, including the trading ones. Business savvy. When approached to people asking me, you're going to write a 3rd book or this, I said, what's the one topic you want to write on? And I said, it's not trading. It's about business savvy. It's probably not going to happen, but it's about having just this it factor that just, how to deal with people. You know how to deal with situations. Someone tells you off, but you respond in a way that kind of like is kind and whatever, and gets things done. All right. Shows up to meetings on time and just always prepared and, has good questions to ask, but, doesn't go over the top. Business savvy, there's a lot to it, but being the best professional person you could be, whether it's in your personal, corporate, your work, or even your trading life, is really, really important. I'm telling you, you sit next to a prop firm and you could have all the things that you're missing the mark on. But if you come across having business savvy, I'm telling you, they'll give you a chance. Don't underestimate this in your development. The ability to communicate with peers and industry people, just kind of mentioned as part of business savvy, right? Learn how to ask those questions that are kind of precise, but not too much, right? Especially if you want to be funded or have, start a fund or, go into that pro style where there's other people involved. The communication is so, so important. Personally, it's one of my cool points that what makes me special. I know exactly here's the one, knowing what they want to hear, knowing the questions that they need to ask and be ready to answer them. Professionally, your elevator pitch. All right. When someone says, what do you do? Or what do you want to do? What are your goals? You should be able to have a 15-second elevator pitch that you can just nail. And they can walk away, not with the answer, but with more questions. You tease them a little bit. Do you have an elevator pitch in your life? Think about that. It has nothing to do with trading, but has everything to do with being successful as a trader in this business. Expansion of your network. Very, very important. It's one of the reasons why you're here, to take advantage of the community element of desire to trade. But you can go beyond that. There's plenty of other things out there, and learn from other people. Go to traders expos. All right. Learn from people. You ask people questions and you ask us that. Very rarely will you get I don't want to answer that question, or can you help me with something? All right. I had a one-on-one with someone who why did I have a one-on-one with someone totally outside our group? Because he sent me an email and said he saw one of our YouTube videos and is lost and want to know if you could bounce some questions off. I said, well, I try to focus on our group, but yeah, what the hell? And I learned a lot from him, by the way, too. I learned how to make good crab cakes because he's from Baltimore, Maryland. So learning as a way of life. Oh, by the way, expansion of your network, very heavy in the Asian culture. They call it guanxi. It's building your network, building people that surround you that you are going to get tremendous knowledge and direction from, right? We hope that part of us is part of your guanxi, but look at your work, your personal life, personal development, the people in your life surrounding you in your network. Who is in your network and what are they doing to help you get to be where you want to be? And quite honestly, every year I have to cleanse my network and drop some people off there. It's kind of tough sometimes, right? But you get a lot of people trying to suck things out of you and they add no value to your life. Learning as a way of life, again, continuous development. constantly finding ways to learn things. And again, why you're here. Surrounding yourself with paddle people, not anchors. My own little quirky term. But, there's certain people in your life, and it's part of your network kind of concept, but just paddle people are people who are just helping you push the boat. They're paddles in the boat, and they're constantly pushing you, helping you reach your goals. All right. Anchors are people who literally, as you're paddling, drop an anchor in the boat and just, you're on a treadmill and you can't go anywhere. Who are those people in your life? And fill them with paddle people. People are going to help push you to get to where you want to go. All right. Most of the things I have found, at least in my things that I'm successful at, I very rarely did alone. All right. Whether it's a trading coach, a weight loss coach, whatever it was, I just had people in my team that helped me out. And last, master the ability to adapt. Right? And remember, we're talking about your development plan. Is this something that you need to work on? One of the things that we found is, and it's hard for me as a coach, is, sometimes it's troubling to get people to strip away from their bad habits or habits that they've learned from other things. When I get trading, snapshots, and they have their, plan with them, and I know what they're doing, and then they have these other lines on there. I go, what are these lines? I don't understand what they are. They're not part of your plan, right? Oh, I use that for something else, or another coach told me. That's fine if they're in your plan, great, but adapt to doing things differently. I have a trader for the family office fund. She's been there a year and a half now. She started January of the prior year, and she is now the top person. Barely speaks English. I need Google Translate to go over some things, but she's a top trader. Why? Because she came in with zero bad habits, but an open mind to just learn what needs to be learned. Pretty cool stuff. So your assignment here, it's a lot to chew on. And my goal here was to overburden you, say, oh my God, I'm so confused now. Your assignment, select the ones that you feel you need to work on. I would say kind of prioritize them if you can. Add them to your development plan. And what did we say before? Include action items, a soft due date, understand that can change, and then the solutions. And I would love to see them. All right, Alex, I would love to review them. Etienne, we'll look at them. We have a little file for you, a confidential file. We put them in there. So when we talk to you, we'll say, you notice things. We'll say, hey, how's that going on your spousal engagement of, you being a trader or something like that? How's it going? We're not that intelligent. We don't memorize these things. We have something on you that we can look back and say, how are you doing in your development? Is that a lot for a Saturday? Yeah, that's a lot. I hope I didn't alienate a lot of you, but we want you to succeed. And if you could pick 3 or 4 of these, hopefully we've turned some light bulbs on and made you think, say, I need to work on these things. And at least half of them should be outside of the specific trader world, such as charting and specific things like that. All right. So Alex, take it away. I want to hear your things in your chat. By the way, also, if you have sort of a win, I want to see a little positive success story that you had this week. Type in your wins. It could be the smallest little thing. All right. My win this week was I avoided a few trades during the CPI number that I was so tempted to do. And I said, no, I'm not going to get involved in it. So that was a little win. I'm not sure how those trades would have worked out, but I kind of was itching. I felt myself identified. I was kind of itching to trade, and I made sure I held myself back. And the CPI number was on Wednesday. That kind of forced me to do it. So I was kind of cool. I was kind of happy about that. Little win.
Hope you got some value out of this training. Hope you learned something useful. Hope you can apply things in your own trading afterward. Let me know in the comment section below what you will apply from this, what you will use. And then come back to this video in a week. Let me know your results, how it went, what things you applied. And I want to see things improving, you growing, becoming better. And your results, of course, getting just better and better over time. If you're not subscribed yet to the channel, I post videos like this 3 times a week. 1 interview every Sunday, and then 2 videos in the week to teach you stuff about trading, things you can apply, some in-depth training like this one. And I'll catch you back here in the next video pretty soon. Ciao.